welcome! My name is Rieke and I'm the Twinny Stitcher. Today is December 27th, 2024 and I'm here to share a Wip Parade with you. It's been a little over 2 years since I filmed my last Wip Parade. I had been absent from Flosstube for a while, but I've been back for a few months now, so it's the end of the year, time for a Wip Parade. A few of the projects I'll show you will also be shown in the previous Wip Parade, but I did have quite a few new starts since. So let's get into it. What I will do is I'll share my stitch along first. It's only one, so that will be quick. Then I'll share my kits with you. If you see me looking down, my notes are just below the camera. I'll share my kits. I have a few Vervaco kits and a few dimensions. After that, I'll share my non-full coverage patterns with you. Then my full coverage, which is the largest category because I love full coverage. And in the end, I'll share my series and a new start. So first off is my stitch along. It's by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, Arctic Animals. It's my first official stitch along and I love it. They started over here with the Arctic fox and just went on like that. This little guy was released at the beginning of December. I am behind, but I really love it. I'll catch up, it doesn't matter. And this is my progress so far. It's stitched on 14 count Aida, the called for fabric. I don't remember the colour, but I'll put it down in the description box below. I love it. It's easy to stitch. I will be putting in before photos if I have them. This one started somewhere during the summer, so I do not have a before picture. And if I can find them, because my next project is this one, a kit by Vervaco, Sleeping Puppy in a bookcase. I haven't worked on this in quite a while. I think I picked it up at the beginning of the year because of Whip Go, but I'm not sure. And this, I'll put this behind. This is how far I am so far. It's still in the Q-snap because I really want to work on it, but somehow I don't pick it up as easy. But I do love it. It's on 14 count black Aida. And it's, I think, the second project I ever started. And I already picked black Aida. But love it. Love how the colours show up from the book. So my next project is also a Vervaco kit. You may have seen this earlier because I did stitch on this one this year. I'm stitching it for my son. It's the fire truck. I got this pattern from my sister. She stitched it for my nephew. And now I'm stitching it for my son. I do love it, but it's sometimes a little bit hard to pick up. But this is how far I've got. So I almost finished all the axes. There's just a ton of backstitch. What's keeping me from stitching on this a lot more is the pattern itself. It's an easy pattern, but because it's so old, it's been folded 100 times, and where it's creased, you can hardly see the symbols. So that's a bit discouraging sometimes, but I would like to finish it. I think I started this March of 2020 during the pandemic. Still haven't finished it, but I do love it. So this is going to be a focus on a finish in 2025. So next is also a Vervaco pattern that I really like, but I haven't been stitching on. It's the Wild Animals, and initially I was going to stitch this for a friend, but my children really love it and I really like it. So I'm just stitching it for us. There's no deadline. However, I would like to stitch on this more often. And this is all my progress. Haven't been stitched on this year, maybe not even in 2023, but I do like it. That's with most of the Vervaco kits. They're so colourful and I really love that. So let's see, my next and final Vervaco kit is totally different. It's a cheetah. They're my favourite animal. I love cheetahs. The only thing is it's stitched on linen. I made a mistake as a beginner stitcher not to pay attention if I was buying the linen version or the Aida version. So I started it on the linen. Let's put this one behind because it's really see-through. And I think this is 2 days work. I haven't picked it up since I started it. Maybe now I've got a few more years of experience, I will try the linen again. But it's such a small start. So even though it's a kit, I might just restart it on Evenweave, which I really like. So we'll see. Then, totally different from Vervaco, my dimensions kits. I'm working on this one. I think this was my first dimensions. It's a dimensions petite. It's the coffee shop. It's a Christmas scene. I love the artwork. However, I don't really like stitching on it. It's mainly because when I bought it, I didn't have a really good storage system for my threads. And in these kits, they come on thread cards where they're glued to. So you have to cut them off to start working with them. And you can't put them back on the cards. But I still want to finish it. I do love it. I'm not sure this has been worked on this year, but if it has, I'll put in a before picture. But this is how far I am. I do love it. It's with dimensions kits. You have sometimes 1 strand, sometimes 4 strands, a full cross, half cross. But it really gives the details. Love it. When I'm going through a Wip Parade like this, I want to stitch on everything, and I have plans for everything, every one of them, but just so little time. My next one is my favorite dimensions. They remind me of my own twins. They're 7 years old, a boy and a girl. And I am stitching this on a different fabric. It called for, it came with, I believe, 14 count Aida. I didn't like the fabric. So I started it on 32 count Evenweave. By the looks of it, I started before I had surgery. But this is how far I am. I do love it. It's a little hard to work on sometimes because of all the different sort of threads, 1 thread or 3 or 4. And the light yellow in the sky is really hard to see on this fabric. But I do love the artwork and I really would like to finish it. Yes, I don't think I worked on this year either. Oh. So next was also a new start this year, but also my first finish. I don't have it here because I already gifted it. I stitched this for my son's teacher. My son was changing schools and he wanted to give his teacher a thank you gift. So I stitched this. I did a few alterations because my son said, "Mommy, my teacher's a boy, he doesn't like pink." So I believe I made these little things green. But yes, I'll pop in photos. Teacher really loved it. So that's great. Oh, it's by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. World's best teacher. It was a really easy stitch, only 6 or 7 colours. Loved it. I stitched it on dark blue hand-dyed fabric. I believe the colour Mystique. I'll link it down below, as always. Next was the T-Rex by Silver Creek Samplers. I really love that. I drink a lot of tea. I like dinosaurs. So that was, yeah, love it. And I didn't just start this one. I also finished it. And it is fully finished now, which for me is incredible. And this is it. It's beautiful. There's barely any glare, but there is glass in front of it. I love this one. This is going to be hanging above the sofa in our living room. Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at that. There's a little glare from the light, but beautiful. So next one is also a pattern I haven't worked on in I don't know how long. It's a little stitch level by Maurer Stroh, and I bought this years ago on Patterns Online. I don't even know if they still sell it. It's a series, I believe, of 6 or 8. And this is still the first one. It's really, really tiny. And I wanted to try and stitch on 25 count, which I hadn't done before. And this is my progress. It hasn't been touched this year. I love the little guy. And I think if I put my mind to it, it's maybe 2 days of stitching. But yeah, love the reds. Then my final non-full coverage. If you follow my Flosstube, you would have seen this a lot. I started this at the beginning of December as my focus piece for December. It's by Soda Stitch, the Nutcracker, and I love it. And this is my progress. I had hoped to stitch on it during Christmas, but was just too busy. But this is my progress. I'm at about 50%. Love it. It's on 18 count, fabric by Fibre on a Whim, in the colour Kunzite. Still on the card. Yeah, I really enjoy stitching on this one. It's my second Soda stitch. I stitched the fall tree last year which is also fully finished now. If I have a picture, I'll pop it in. And yes, I really love the next category is full coverage. I really like the soda stitch. So next is full coverage. First off is by far my favorite. I do have stats on my full coverage pieces because they're in Pattern Keeper and I can keep track. So this is the first one, Disney Villains. I found this pattern on Etsy a while ago. I'm stitching this together with a friend. We just, every time we visit, we try to get to a certain number of stitches. And right now it's on 8,500, almost there. And this one got a lot of love this year. This is how far I've got. I did a total of 6,490 stitches on it this year, which got me to 2.34%, 43%. Love it. You can see her face a little bit. Why it's not really showing up. But yes, I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross on 25 count Evenweave. Then the next one. This one got the most amount of stitches this year. Is Beauty and the Beast. It's a pattern I found on Etsy as well. Years ago, stitching this for my daughter. It's beautiful. It's really colourful. And this is how far I've got. Let's see if I can get it into frame. Yeah. It's beautiful, so colourful. At the bottom you can see Mrs. Potts and the start of Plumette and Lumière. It's stitched on 18 count, 2/1 full cross. And somehow every time when I stitch on this, I get that Be Our Guest song stuck in my head. But yes, because it's so easy to stitch, I can just fill in the blocks. I can take this everywhere, to swimming lessons, when I go visit someone. So that's probably why I got so much progress. All right, I did a total of 11,010 stitches on it, which got me to 39.62%. Really happy about that. Next one is a recent start. It's Lollipop by Tilton Crafts. I'm also stitching this one for my daughter, but this is going to take a while. So I'm still working up there in the clouds. She saw this one on Instagram once, and then she loves to watch, my daughter loves to watch Flosstube with me. And we were watching Sarah, the Stitching Mommy, and she saw this one and she really wanted this one. So I started it. I also really love the picture. The lollipop that the girl is giving to the dragon. It's cute. So it's a tiny start because I started this in November. But this is progress so far. Not sure you can see properly. But there are about 4 shades of blue in there. Fair bit to go. But yeah, I love it. I did a total of, where is she? Oh, I didn't write it down for this one. Oh, I did. 700 stitches, which got me to 0.62%. Next up is Lamb. I'm stitching this one for my mum. It's a restart. It's a custom chart by Michelle Sietta from Heaven and Earth Designs. I took this photo years ago at a local church. My mum loved it. So I'm stitching it for her. And I actually took it off the frame so you can really see it. It's on 18 count, 2-for-1 full cross, so it's huge. But this is it. Can't even see if you can see everything. But this is about how far I've got. Most of it's just black, although I did start in a little bit on the collar a while back. So my progress on this is 7,257 stitches this year. It's a little bit disappointing, but it's progress. This will be one of my focus pieces for next year. So what I did during Flossmas is that I have my focus piece, the Nutcracker, and I stitch on that every day. And after that, I chose my next project to work on that evening. So I will be trying to stitch on this one every single evening before I start my other piece. We'll see how that goes, but I would really love to have some progress on this one. Then the pile's getting bigger and bigger on the chair next to me. So the next one is a really small one. It's the QS Hansel and Gretel, also by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Scott Gustafsson. This is also a restart. I started the full version a few years back, but I didn't like how it was stitching up. The artwork had a lot of brown and dark colours, however, somehow in the pattern everything was purple. Didn't like that, and what I really liked of the picture was the two kids. So I thought, well, I'll UFO it and I'll start this one. So this one is stitched on 25 count Evenweave, 1/1 full cross. And I love it. Still working in the background. I did a total of 2,418 stitches on this, which got me to 16.25%. Love it. So cute. Very small. Next project is QS Litter Dragon. It's artwork by Randall Spangler, as you can see, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is also quite an old whip because I started it the same week as I started that one. That one has been hanging there for years. This one isn't even nearly finished. Still love it. It's really colourful. And this is my progress. So I did a total of 1,500 stitches on it this year, which got me to 41.82%. It's funny because the stitch count on this one, which is on 18 count 2/1, is exactly the same as this one, which is on 25 count 1/1. Look at the size difference. That's the difference on 25 count or 18 count. So next up is one of my favorites as well. QS Sleep Time. Also Heaven and Earth Designs, charted by Zero Machete. I'm still working in the top, in the pup's head. It's really cute. And this is my progress so far. Love it. I did a total of, oh, that's a bit discouraging, only 649 stitches this year, which got me to 2.73%. This one really needs a bit of love next year. Then is Mini Quiet Reflection. This is the first Heaven and Earth designs I ever bought. It's also a restart, because when I started this, I still was a beginner stitcher. We didn't have Pattern Keeper back then. It's so long ago. And I started this on 16 or 18 count 1/1. I didn't like the coverage, because especially this is all 939. It's really dark, and I didn't know, like how the fabric was showing through. So now I have been stitching on 25 count for a while, and I love it. It's really starting to be my go-to fabric. And this is my progress. I did a total of 2,513 stitches on this, which got me to 5.68%. I love the picture, but all the blue is sometimes getting a bit boring. But yes, there's a lot of blue in there. However, it's still 89 colours. So yeah, lots of shades of blue. Next up is also a new start. Let me guess, Heaven and Earth Designs. I do like their patterns. It's T-Rex Attack, artwork by David Penfound. And I'm stitching this one for my son. I started a new pattern for my daughter, Lollipop. So of course I had to start one for him as well. I did warn them though that it will probably be finished once they graduate high school, but that's okay. Love stitching on it. And this is my progress. It's a tiny start. I did a total of 842 stitches. Also a fair bit to go. But yes, I do like the process of stitching, the process of seeing things grow. Although I also really love when something's finished, but I do so really love the process. So that was all my full coverage. Then I am still working on a series. It's the Farmhouse Christmas by Little House Needleworks, sorry. And this is the third pattern. Sorry about the glare. I'll just take it out of the plastic. It is a series of 9. I'll pop in a photo of the total. But I'm almost finished with the third block. This is it. Already had finished the first and second at the before I started this year. My plans were to stitch 1 block a month and have it finished by September, but no, I stitched this block this year. And I recently noticed that in the second block I've got the reins. The horse is just standing there and the soldier is holding out his hand. This is stitched on 25 count, 1/1 full cross, even weave in the color Vintage Mokka. But yeah, I do like it a lot. Once you get back into it. So that is all my whips. However, I'm not the only person stitching in this house. So I did bring my daughter's cross stitch. She's 7 and she loves to stitch. And well, first she started with a unicorn. I showed that in my last Wip Parade. That was with the thick wool. I believe it was 11 count. And then she started on this one. It was a stamped kit. I don't think she's really enjoying this one because I'm not sure there's any progress this year. However, she is now stitching a regular pattern. I found this one on Etsy a couple of years back. My plan was to stitch this for her. However, she's stitching it herself. It's Snow White. And this is her progress so far. She's stitching this on 14 count Aida, 2/1 full cross. And this is her progress so far. Oh, there's still a little bit of thread on the needle. You can see the background, but also her bow. I thought she would need a lot of help with this one. However, she's stitching this all by herself. Sometimes if she makes a little mistake, like a few weeks back, she accidentally started a few rows too high and she had to frock about 100 stitches. 100 stitches is a lot, especially for a 7-year-old. So I restitched those 100 stitches for her. But mainly she does everything herself. I do help her count sometimes, but that's it. Really proud of her. She also participated in Flossmas. I had put in a small clip of that in one of the Flossmas videos because I picked another project every day and she picked a stitch count she had to do every day. She couldn't really keep up with it, of course, because she had school and all the other activities around Christmas, but she really loves it. So then I am going to have a new start. Kim Hollenbach here on Flosstube, she's the Spartan Stitcher on Instagram, is doing a sort of stitch along. If you have those fabrics where you cut off a small amount because, well, it's just a little bit too wide, and you have all these long strips, so that's just a waste. So she decided to stitch or a story keep or with one of the Randall Spangler bookshelves to put one of those books on that strip of fabric. I decided to join. I bought this one in the last sale. It's a story keep, artwork by Randall Spangler. It's the beautiful Black Lab Beauty. It's a story keep. It's really long and skinny. I will be starting this on New Year's Day, but maybe on New Year's Eve. I'm still deciding if I want to do this on 25 count or 18 count, because the width is only 55 stitches, which makes it really tiny on 25 count. So I'm thinking of doing 18 count. I've got plenty of fabric for it, so we'll see, but I really want to start this. So that will get my total of whips at the beginning of 2025 to 20. So that was it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm not sure when this will be up because I've quite a bit of editing to do. But hopefully see you soon. Happy New Year and happy stitching. Bye.